And so now I had a metric that was growing from one vector equilibrium to the other, to the other, to the other. And interestingly, they grew in perfect scale of exactly half the radius, so in harmonic scales or in octaves, if you want.
I think the intelligence behind the crop circles has decided with great wisdom that this conversation, which has a long program and a long agenda, is best established with form.
And it was a three-dimensional fractal. This is actually one of the only true three-dimensional fractal I believe exists. And it grew radially, which is what I needed for the radiation part. And then I realized something even more significant, is that the fractal growth could be generated from 8 star tetrahedron. So one star tetrahedron is 8 tetrahedrons coming together to make an octahedron in the middle. Everybody sees that? 8 star tetrahedron, 8 stars like that coming together, okay, to create the vector equilibrium, right? So 8 of these coming together to create the vector equilibrium. And when I realized that, I saw that the star tetrahedron is 8 tetrahedron pointing out, and that the vector equilibrium is 8 pointing in. And now I had both sides of the event horizon, the radiated side and the contracted side, all in one mathematical metric that was producing both to generate the feedback of creation. I was really excited then. I mean, people would, you know, anyway. My van was bumping around, you know, and it's not because I had a girlfriend. So I realized this, and it was like the 8 star tetrahedrons coming together to create the vector equilibrium in the middle. Just like this. And when the whole thing was put together, it would generate a vector equilibrium in the middle, right? The vector equilibrium in the middle. And then it would generate the next fractal vector equilibrium on the outside, right?
It's striking that the basic geometrical forms such as circles, squares, triangles, pentagrams, etc. seem to create the basis for the construction in most of the patterns in crop circles. The principle of the golden section and ratio pi is often repeated in the constructions. Is it the geometry that is the key in understanding the phenomenon? Or is it the phenomenon that is the key in understanding a deeper meaning in the geometry?
It was radial growth generating scale in the vacuum. So I was really excited. I thought I found something very significant. I was looking now to solve this in terms of physics. How does it apply? How does it, emerge in the physics? And as well, I was starting to think, well, this physics must have, angular momentum, must have dynamics to it. This is not a static thing. This is a fluctuating thing. So how does that all compute?
Here I'm standing at Oliver's Castle at precisely the same spot as John Whaley was standing in August 1996, when he supposedly, for the first time in history, managed to film the creation of a crop circle. That the crop circle was not here the previous day but had appeared the following morning was a fact. That John Whaley was here at dawn could be confirmed by a military patrol jogging by at that time. John returned to the local pub later that same day and played this remarkable footage from his camera. Even so, many believe that he had managed to manipulate the film with computer animation during this short time span, something that computer animation experts doubt. To overlay a perfect animation over a handheld unstable film would need several days of computer work using the equipment of that time. Today the film is still a great mystery. Although confessions now have been made by people claiming to be responsible for it as a hoax, others believe the hoax theory is to be organized debunking, due to the fact that this remarkable footage would have dangerous effect on the public if declared real.
I came across a graphic on the internet of a phenomenon that's called crop circles. And that graphic was a perfect representation of the fractal structure of space I had just described and found in my van jumping around. Now I know that there is hoaxes out there and hoaxers out there, and I know they make crop circles at night with their gumboots and drinking moonshine and stuff. But there is as well a lot of genuine phenomenons that goes on with these crop circles, where it's not obvious to just write it off as people jumping around with gumboots or Doug and Dave out there, having a good time. What got me really interested is that there was a bunch of croppies, people that photographed these things and measured them and all this, that had gone into, they figured out if somebody is trying to talk to us, whoever that is, maybe we should just try to talk back. So they got some gumboots and they went in there and they stomped around in big letters in their field. What do we need to know? And the very next crop circle that came out was this. And that really, struck a chord with me. And if you look carefully, you can see that the way the crops was laid, it made an effect of light and shadow in which you could see the vectors of the tetrahedron that would be creating this metric in three-dimensional space. Now that's not obvious to do in the middle of the night, in the middle of a field. All right? This is not a small thing, it's a large thing, and it's very, very accurate.
Right behind me is Britain's largest radio telescope, the Chilbolton Observatory. And here it was that the greatest sensation in the crop circle history was to appear in the fields right in front of the telescope. On the morning of 14th of August 2001, a formation was discovered which was different from any other previously seen. From the ground it looked like a tangled mess, wisps of crops spread around in no system. However, in the evening with growing shadows, a picture appeared, unmistakably that of a face. That picture represented a whole new technique, a screen technique, the same that's used for printing a picture on paper.
They seem to insist on the pattern. Another one, just like the first one, and this one with another set of information in the middle. In this case, there was another set of fractal division that was going on in the middle. When I looked at it closely, I realized that that set of information was the exact same structure of division, those triangle divisions of space, or these tetrahedron division of space, but in this case, pointing in the opposite direction, going inwards towards infinitely small.